So the Philadelphia 76ers have taken a 2-0 lead in the Nets versus Sixers series. Now, in round one, I would say that, a lot of the series we've seen so far have been pretty good. I mean, up until I want to say the Denver Nuggets and the Timberwolves, I mean, each and every series has been pretty interesting. Now, I want to say yesterday or 2 days ago, when the playoffs first started, there were a lot of teams that were winning. I mean, the Sixers, they won. I believe the Clippers won. I can't remember. There were a lot of games that day. I think the Knicks won their game against the Cavs. But yeah, the Sixers officially being the first team to go 2-0 in the postseason. So we'll talk about the 76ers and the Nets, a game that happened today where they won 96-84. So we'll go over the game, talking about the box score, talking about, just some things I noticed throughout the game, which definitely there are some things to talk about. First and foremost, I mean, we'll talk about the box score here really quick. So we got James Harden with 8 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals. Didn't really have a great game, 13 from the field and 2 of 8 from 3. Pretty inefficient night from James, but did have 4 steals, played some good defense, did have 5 turnovers today, so not his best showing out for, the 76ers, but he definitely won't be like this, I would say, every day. I mean, he definitely could be a guy that can score. Obviously, in that first game, he scored like 20 or 23 points. So we didn't get that James Harden tonight. He was a pretty inefficient guy today. So hopefully he can pick it up next game. And I think, James Harden, he's going to be set for the future. I mean, he still looks like, I would say, I wouldn't say like Houston days, but definitely a lot better than what he was last season. So if the Sixers want to win this series, I mean, I think James Harden definitely needs to step it up. Obviously, 8 points and 7 assists with 5 rebounds isn't really, I would say, I wouldn't even say what he dropped 8 and 7 is not what they want from him, but he's definitely in the right direction. So we got Tyrese Maxey, who scored the most points on the Sixers with 33 points and 3 rebounds. It was really the biggest reason why they were in this game. And the Sixers at one point, they were down a couple points going into the fourth quarter, and they definitely came back. So went on a pretty good run with guys like Tobias Harris getting a steal and playing some great defense. Also had a pretty good game today. So there are some things I want to talk about this team later on, but I'll get through the box score here pretty quickly. Joel Embiid, 20 points and 19 rebounds. That's great to see, with 7 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks. Did have 8 turnovers, which, to be fair, he is getting double teamed and sometimes triple teamed whenever he gets the ball, which definitely makes sense. I mean, with the Brooklyn Nets not having really a big guy other than Nick Claxton that can hold him, I mean, they're going to need to go to guys like Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson to double team on Embiid on the perimeter. So yeah, I mean, Embiid, with what he's working with the double teams and everything, I think he's doing a really great job. And also threw in 3 blocks today too, being that good defensive center that they needed. So just bringing that interior defense that they need. And even off the bench, I mean, some guys have been providing for this team, specifically Paul Reed. So next, we got Tobias Harris, 20 points and 12 rebounds, 2 assists and 1 steal. I think Harris, he's definitely been a surprise for the Sixers. I mean, I would say majority of Sixers fans and even NBA fans think that Tobias Harris is pretty overpaid with what he's able to do. But in the postseason so far, I mean, he's been able to show out. Looking at his stats so far in the postseason, I mean, they didn't really count this game, but looking at the last game, he dropped 21 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. This game, 20 points, 12 rebounds and 2 assists with 1 steal. So I think Harris, he's also going to be a huge key for this offense to get going with his floor spacing and his ability to create some offense. I think he's going to be a really big key to this Sixers offense. So finally, to round out the starting 5, we got PJ Tucker. Now, Tucker, he didn't really do anything notable on the offensive end. Did have 8 rebounds and 3 assists, which is really the thing I want to talk about. I think his offensive rebounding is definitely going to be the biggest thing for this Sixers team. I mean, we saw this last season with the Miami Heat, where he was grabbing a lot of rebounds for them. I mean, even on the offensive end, I mean, grabbing those offensive rebounds is definitely good. Did have 2 offensive rebounds and 6 defensive rebounds. So if Tucker can continue to do this while also shooting the ball, I mean, I definitely think he should be a pretty important piece to this Sixers team as well. Did went 0-4 from the 3 and 0-5 from the field, so that's not great to see, but definitely good he's taking the shots, and only played 22 minutes today. So definitely one of their better defenders too, counting out Joel Embiid. So that's also something to note. But looking at the bench, we do got some guys here. I want to talk about Paul Reed specifically. 6 points, 3 rebounds, 1 block in 11 minutes on 3 or 4 from the field. I think Paul Reed, he might be the guy off the bench that they really need to go off, because looking at guys like Melton, I mean, Melton only had 9 points and 2 rebounds. I think he needs to get going. And also, Jalen McDaniels had no points, but had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. So they're going to need to go to guys like Paul Reed and DeAnthony Melton, who are both guys that are capable of, producing some offense off the bench. But also guys like Georges Niang, who definitely has the ability to stretch the floor. And I would even look into, bringing guys like Dwayne Dedmon if, they really do need some depth, or even Shake Milton. But I know Milton's pretty much a liability on defense. So, yeah, the Sixers, I think what really stood out to me today was that, I don't know, the way they were able to come back from the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, they were down at half, I want to say. And even throughout the game, they were down until the fourth quarter, where they really had that spark. I think, coming together like that definitely is really the key for this team to win too. And, going into the future and, going past the series, if they do get past the series, they might verse the Boston Celtics or the Atlanta Hawks. We'll see what happens. But being able to utilize Joel Embiid through a double team is definitely something that, I would praise the Sixers for. I mean, for James Harden and, I would say realizing that, Joel Embiid does have a smaller guy, because majority of the game today, they would have guys like Royce O'Neal, but also sending guys like Mikal Bridges or Cam Johnson in to send help. But I think, what with Joel Embiid's able to do and what he's been doing against these double teams, it's definitely respectable. And I think, Doc Rivers, him, motivating his team at halftime to get up there and, just put the ball in the hoop, I think is definitely commendable from a coach. So, yeah, the Sixers, they're looking pretty good right now. 96-84, definitely a lower scoring game, but defense was being played today, and it was some pretty good defense. I mean, on the net side of things, they weren't really too great. Cam Johnson had that dunk over Joel Embiid. Also had 28 points and 4 rebounds. Mikal Bridges, 21 points and 7 rebounds. Spencer Dinwiddie, 12 points. He wasn't really playing too well. So, yeah, this should be pretty easy for the Sixers. I'm not going to project that they're going to sweep the Brooklyn Nets. I would say I'm projecting more of a gentleman sweep for a 1, but yeah, regardless, if the Sixers do get past the Nets, I think they should be one of the more competent teams in the NBA. And even right now, I mean, guys like James Harden, even though he had a pretty bad game, I know he's going to bounce back next game. And even guys like Tyrese Maxey, who has the potential to score, 30, just like this game, each and every night. I think this team is definitely going to be scary. The one thing I'm really looking at here is the depth on the bench, which is not really too great. Now, Paul Reed definitely is a little bit undersized for the backup center position, standing at 6'9", but we'll see what happens. I think, if they do want some more, I would say, big man depth, I would look at Dwayne Dedmon, because I think he does have some potential, but we'll see what happens. I think that's going to be a big hole for the Sixers to fill in this offseason, which is getting a backup center that can not only rebound, but also be a good interior force for this team on defense. So they're doing pretty good right now. Hopefully they can get this going, and hopefully they can at least sweep the Brooklyn Nets. This should be pretty easy. Like I said, not projecting that they will sweep them, but we'll see what happens in the future. So that's the end. Wow.